Welcome to Daily Planet 5D, episode number 2, Give It a Kick. Hi, I'm Planet Mitch, and this is Astro. He's my buddy. I called him Asteroid yesterday, I think, but I'm going to go with Astro because it's shorter and it sounds more like the Jetsons. That's what it was. Today is Wednesday, June 13th. This is episode called Give It a Kick, episode number 2. First, I'd like to thank Marcelo Savio for creating my opening graphics. He's the guy that took the icon that I had for Planet 5D and animated the sun rising behind the camera outline. And no, it's not a car like my wife thinks it's the outline of a car. It's not. It's a camera. Get it? Anyway, if you have any need for some cool graphics, you can check him out over at MD Savio. That's MDSAVIO.com. I think also, by the way, that I have episode 1's audio problems fixed. The audio was horrible yesterday, and I confess that I probably should have re-recorded it once I realized that the audio was bad, but I thought I did pretty well with what I wanted to say, and so I didn't record it again. Anyway, the other part is getting the compressions done right. I'm using Apple's compressor, and I'm using that because I was getting out of sync problems when I had just taken the video that comes straight out of the tool that I'm using called Wirecast, which is what I'm using to broadcast and show my screen and all that kind of stuff, and to record the video, and it records in 48 kilohertz. And I think the compression, somebody pointed out on Twitter that the YouTube and Vimeo and those guys expect 44 kilohertz. So I'm using the compressor to do that. Unfortunately, it takes about 2 hours to compress my little 10-minute episode that I did yesterday. So if you have any good ideas on how to use a software tool or something on a Mac to compress this and get the right audio for uploading to YouTube, let me know in the comments, please. All right, today I want to talk about Kickstarter projects, hence the word give it a kick. And the funny thing is, I'm so funny, the first product is called The Kick. The project was just launched on Kickstarter today, and it's an awesome little light. You see, this is a prototype they're showing right now. The light is actually controlled by the iPhone, and there are quite a few options. If you sit down and watch the whole video, you can see all the different options. So it's not actually an iPhone light, but it has software on the iPhone that controls the color and the output of the light itself. And so that's a pretty cool little project. They're looking for 115,000. I certainly think they're going to make it because it's a cool project. And if you're interested, they have a whole bunch of different options. Here they show, before I scroll down, the light being used to record an image of a young lady. And then here it is in the background where they're showing you how it changes color, etc. You can watch that whole thing. And in terms of pledge amounts, you've got a whole bunch of different options here for donating to that project if you're interested. Another cool project is from Zeke Cam called the Aviator Travel Jib. He's looking for 20,000 and he's at 11,700 already. You should also watch this video. I'll play a little bit of it. It looks like a really cool little sturdy jib that's travel-sized that you might be very interested in having. I'm certainly going to get one and try one out. So have a look at that project. It's called the Aviator Travel Jib. So if you're looking for it on Kickstarter, look for that. In terms of a movie project that's something that I've seen lately, and by the way, I get quite a few of these sent to me, and go ahead and send one in if you are working on a project. Don't be shy about sending stuff in. I don't always talk about all of the projects on Planet 5D, but I'll certainly give it a look over and tell you what I think. I'm certainly full of opinions. These guys, I'm Fine, is a project about complacency, and you really need to watch the video to understand what they're talking about. I've pledged to this one. I certainly hope they make it. They've got 9 days left to go, and so please consider this one. It looks like a really cool project. They traveled all over the country and interviewed a whole bunch of people about what they're doing in their lives, and it should turn out to be a pretty cool documentary. I wanted to highlight a couple of Kickstarter projects that we talked about on Planet 5D that have been successful. And this first one is a follow focus that you can now purchase. There's an add to cart up here. It's made by Hondo, and they call it the Hondo Garage Follow Focus. So if you want to look that up, I'll have the URL in the show notes. It's hondogarage.com. That's Hondo Garage. The other one that I wanted to show you is a project called Easy Steady that we highlighted on Planet 5D. It's cool little... Kyle sent me this morning, and he sent me a note that said that not only did the project get funded, but they're finally starting to distribute units now. So if you were involved in the Kickstarter project, you should be getting a unit shortly, and he's going to be sending one to us to try out for the show. So we'll be talking about that as well. Kickstarter has advantages. Getting projects funded, you can get a product made, you can get movies shot. There's all sorts of uses for Kickstarter. I'm sure many of you know what's going on out there in Kickstarter. There's also several other sites that are coming on. Indiegogo is another one that's very popular right now. Indiegogo has an advantage in that if you don't get your goal, if you don't make your goal, you still get the funds. Whereas on Kickstarter, you have to actually make your goal before Kickstarter will send you any of the money. And so, it's kind of a risky proposal getting funded on Kickstarter. Last but not least is the Planet 5D cinema selection of the day, which is called Memories, which was shot on the 5D Mark III. I wanted to also show you that, by the way, yesterday the movie that I had shown I'd already rated, so you didn't get to see the stars and how they work, but it's simple. You select the star that you think for that particular movie, you click on the link, and your vote is recorded and goes up against everybody else's vote. So that's a movie called Memories over on Cinema at Planet 5D. And so that wraps up our quick show about Kickstarter projects. Hope to talk to you again tomorrow on the Daily Planet 5D.